right, welcome to another episode of People Love Clapping, how business groups and communities grow. You can catch us just about every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, as well as on YouTube eventually, and all of your favorite podcast platforms from Apple Podcast and Stitcher, Google, SoundCloud, etc. Pretty easy to catch us. And I like talking to leaders of other communities because as the co-founder of Video Socials, we are a community of lawyers and accountants, coaches and consultants, and we are video blogging together, fun and done. And I like learning from other leaders of their communities of how they are growing and what aspects of the Spirit framework they tend to find the most success in. And today we have Al Jensen, who I've known for quite a bit of time. I'd love for him to share with us a little bit about his community, what he does professionally around the world of public speaking and professional speaking, as well as talk to us a little bit about kind of the framework that I tend to dive in on a regular basis with our guests. So Al, before we even go into kind of what you do professionally and even about your community, I'd love to learn a little bit more, kind of we tend to do a rewind. Was there an instance growing up, even as a child or even a young professional, was there a group or a community that made an impact on you, and how did that happen? It could be a positive experience, hopefully, or at least you made it a positive experience, or maybe it was a negative experience that you had to turn around. So can you share something with us?
Oh man, absolutely. Thanks, Vic. Yeah, it was the summer 1974. I was living in Central America at the time. That's Iowa, for those of you not familiar with U.S. geography. But I grew up in Northeast Iowa, and summer 1974, I went to the county fair because I was in 4-H, and that was the group that really kind of got me understanding the value of community.
Sure.
And at the county fair, I was walking through the livestock barn, and I was walking, quite frankly, very strategically, because as you might imagine, there's all sorts of, I'm going to call them obstacles left by the animals down the main thoroughfare there.
Sure.
And as I'm walking down this thoroughfare, this concrete with all sorts of animals and people all around, I looked, and there she was, a thing of beauty. Oh my God. No. Not a 1,600-pound Charolais steer. No. I'm talking about Dee Billerbeck. She was the hottest girl in the county as far as I was concerned. And she asked if I would be interested in joining the 4-H County Council. And I said, are you going to be on the 4-H County Council? And she says, well, my dad, he's kind of the king of 4-H around here. So yeah, I'm going to be. I said, well, listen, if you're going to be in it, count me in. Well, I had no idea, but I had then to prepare a 3-minute campaign speech to tell everybody why they should vote for me. And it was happening that night. So I sweat about 47 pounds off, and my knees just were shaking. But I got up on stage for 3 minutes and can't really remember exactly what I said, but the last 5 words were, please vote for me.
All right. Fair enough.
And so long story short, I was voted into the county council, had the most votes. So I was the president of the county council, and I got to hang out with Denise Dee Billerbeck. And that was just the beginning of my public speaking career, as well as really understanding the value of community, because the 4-H community was, that's what it was all about in Central America, in rural Iowa, was getting together and talking about and working on things that you share, a fascination, an affinity, and appreciation for. So yeah, I got an early start with an appreciation for groups and for community way back in 1970s.
And now you're in the Las Vegas area.
That's right.
And tell us about your community now, and how is it an outgrowth of your expertise and what you do with your members?
Well, now I own and operate a company called Next Stage Communications, where we work with individuals to help them become more confident in their speaking ability, both on stage live as well as on stage virtual, like we're doing right now.
Sure.
And over the past few years, we created what we call the Speaker Enrichment Academy. And that's for people who are just really kind of serious about becoming better communicators. They may not want to be a quote unquote, Tony Robbins like public speaker, but they want to be able to go to a network group and have confidence speaking in front of that group, or they might want to go on an event just like this and have confidence speaking virtually. So
They're not necessarily a professionally paid speaker where that's their gig or their primary business, but they're an attorney who would, let's say, teach a seminar, or an accountant who would do an educational course, or a coach or a consultant that would come on a podcast or something, or even host their own thing. So those kind of things where speaking becomes an adjunct, a marketing tool, perhaps.
Exactly. We call them subject matter experts,
Sure.
individuals who are really expert in their area, but they use speaking in front of a group to help, number one, gain visibility and credibility, as well as to kind of tell their story and
Sure.
get people interested in possibly doing business with them. So if you can stand in front of a group and you can share your story, talk about how you got to be where you are, and how you care about and how you serve clients, that's the story that people want to hear. Because let's face it, Vic, almost everything you can think about is a commodity these days. I mean,
Sure.
cars and bread and sugar and just legal services,
Sure.
That's a commodity.
Sure.
So why do people buy from you? Well, it's because of your why. It's because of your story. It's because your passion. And you do that by getting in front of groups, sharing your story. So that's what we do at Speaker Enrichment Academy. Take subject matter experts or people who want to become, public stage platform speakers, and help them identify the methods and the skills that they need to share their message in an effective manner on stage or the virtual stage.
And you bring out the stories. Of course, you're helping them practice their story in the community environment. I want to kind of hear about that. But then you've also started documenting their stories and bringing it out as, I think you call it a brand story, and give me the right type of terminology. And you do that on video. So what are all the different ways that you're helping your members bring out their story and to kind of hone it and practice it, and kind of what's the result of it, and why are they doing that?
Sure. Well, let's face it, video, man, that's the greatest marketing tool ever, because it can put you in front of your prospect 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of where you are personally. You could be on vacation in the Bahamas, but your video is there doing the work for you on your website and social media and through your email campaigns, things of that nature. So if you can get your message together, clear and concise, what your prospective clients or your existing clients need to hear, put it on video and put that in places where they will see you, again, social media or email, websites, things of that nature. If you can give them your story, you don't have to be there live with them. Maybe they can't sleep, and 3 o'clock in the morning they're looking for something. They come across you, and they make a decision right then and there to join your tribe, or to take your introductory offer, perhaps, or maybe buy your book or your course or a class. So video is just working for you 24/7. So that's why I really, really just love that medium.
And so do we. So what's your story? How did you create the community? And tell us a little bit more about that creation story, so to speak, and why that community came together. I mean, you could be teaching and working with people one-on-one, or even as a group environment, as a consultant, as a coach, as a trainer. It doesn't necessitate a community per se. Why?
Well, community, we have found, is kind of the entry that people like to start before they'll jump into, paying us the $5, $10, $15, $20,000 coaching and consulting contracts. But if they can join our community, they can kind of dip their toes in. They can be as anonymous as they would like, come in and just kind of check it out and blend into the wallpaper if they need to, and start to get a feel for who we are, what we do, and how we can help them. Many of our clients just stay a part of our group community long term. Others will say, this is really cool, and I like what you guys are doing, and I see you, I know you, I like you, I trust you, and I want to take this to the next stage. Let's elevate our relationship here. So let me buy your book. Let me take your course, your class. Let me join your your coaching or your consulting program. So it's really an entry point. And you see, we were all, I and my business partner, George Gilbert, were members of Toastmasters for
Sure.
years and years and years. And that's a great community, but there's some downsides to it in that it's a peer-to-peer network where, if you're an accountant from Poughkeepsie, you've got an accountant from, wherever, sitting next to you saying, oh yeah, I think that was pretty good. But in our group, we have myself and George Gilbert, and each one of us more than 7,000 speeches over the course of the last 45 plus years. So, I mean, we have a little bit of expertise. So we provide that professional level of expert feedback and critique and coaching in our group programming. So people get a feel for what it is that we can do. So we kind of grew out of Toastmasters, and we provide all the good stuff that Toastmasters provides, and we try to eliminate some of the bad stuff. And the bad stuff is at Toastmasters, you don't get to speak very often. At our group, we offer now 4 times a week, we offer a group Toastmasters kind of event.
Sure.
Where if you show up, you get stage time, you get to speak, you get to share your message, and you get to get some feedback. So that's really the best part of a Toastmasters group, while eliminating a lot of the stuff that people don't like.
And we pay a lot of respect and honor to Toastmasters at Video Socials as well. I don't know if you know, my business partner, my co-founder, Mark Bullock, he was the president of one of the largest Toastmasters chapters in the country. I think it was the largest one in Hawaii and Maui, and that's one of the larger ones in the country. So we learn a lot from what Toastmasters does, and we pay great tribute and respect. It sounds like you do too as well, but also do a different take on what the benefits can be of practicing the art of public speaking. So who is your community for, and are there types of people that it's not really a good fit for, where that the community is not really even designed for them? Do you make that kind of delineation?
Sure. Well, our community is really for subject matter experts who are willing and understand and appreciate the skill of getting in front of a group. Now, I'm not talking about, a stadium of 20,000 people, but getting up at a Chamber of Commerce function where there's 100 people in the room and
Sure.
telling your story, or a networking group, or, a school board, event. Just if you are a subject matter expert and want to become more effective in telling your story, sharing what it is that you do, that's the ideal member for our community. Now, on the other side of the coin, the people who are not good for our community are those who just don't see the value, don't see the benefit, and just don't have a desire to promote themselves. If a guy works in a woodworking shop and he's hammering nails all day, he's probably not the kind of person that's going to benefit from this, from our type of programming. But
unless he's of course a subject matter expert, so of course he could very much choose to kind of use his expertise and, let's say, teach others or provide tips and ideas. And
Sure.
Incidentally, Mark happens to be a woodworker. I don't think he creates any YouTube videos around his craftsmanship, but I know he watches a lot of YouTube videos around that. So, it's ironic that you bring up that point, because I know that there are woodworkers that have created YouTube channels, and I'm sure make a side income, maybe even a great income, creating those kind of videos. But yes, someone who's just looking to do hammer meets nail and not looking to share that expertise, it doesn't really make sense for them.
So what you're talking about is someone with an entrepreneurial spirit, somebody
Sure.
who wants to do a video, somebody who wants to promote themselves, their skills. That's the kind of person that would be great for our community, and we would be a great benefit to them. But if they have no interest at all in sharing their expertise, or being a marketer, or promoting or selling something, ultimately, we explain to people that when you're a speaker, you're speaking either for applause or for a cause. If you're speaking for applause, it means you're like an after dinner speaker. You're light and humorous. You're just providing some entertainment. Or you're speaking for a cause, and that's what the vast majority of speakers speak for, is a cause. They want you to join a particular political party or a political belief system, or they want you to stop littering and start
Sure.
recycling.
Some
Stop
other
eating
cause,
meat.
charitable cause.
Yeah, so whatever their cause is, they're trying to sell you or convince you to open your mind to
Yeah.
donating or to contributing or to changing your ways or to helping change the world. So anyone who wants to speak for a cause, who wants to impact the world with their cause and their message, that's a great person that would really benefit from our community.
So even those who are speaking for a cause, nonetheless, love the applause because people love clapping. I just want to put that plug in for the name of the podcast. Um, so how do you measure the interaction of your community? There's that fan club aspect where they can kind of see you guys as leaders and you're the subject matter experts of this area. And I want to also kind of learn that framework that you have around storytelling. But before we get to that, how do you see the interaction happen among your members? And do you foster that in any way? Do you measure it in any way? How does that happen?
We absolutely foster it. I'm not sure we actually measure it,
Okay.
but when people come to our events, and almost every one of our events is you come in and you're going to speak, you're going to tell a story, you're going to give a speech, you're going to, whatever component of your message you want to share, you are going to get an opportunity to share that with our community. And we usually do that in small groups, anywhere from 6 to 12, 15 people at a time. Now, when you come in, you might be so shy that no, I don't want to do it. So we will then offer you an opportunity to be interviewed. So if you don't want to stand up and tell a story or give a speech, then I'll just have a casual conversation. And I can ask you questions like, so where were you born and how did you get into this work? And what are some of the great results you've had from this? What are some maybe misconceptions that people have about attorneys or accountants, things of that nature? So I'll ask them questions to bring out their personality. And so we really want people to feel comfortable.
Good.
But still a little bit uncomfortable. We want to just coax them, and
which is how we grow, right? We have to get out of our comfort zone, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what we do. So we encourage that, and then we provide positive feedback. Hey, I really liked your humor. I really liked that story. I really liked your call to action.
Yeah.
Whatever we can say to encourage them to be able to come back next time. And we realize that you're not going to become a great speaker overnight. Dale Carnegie said the difference between a good speaker and a great speaker is about 1,000 speeches. So we encourage you to just get a little bit better than you were yesterday and come again tomorrow so you can be better again the next day.
Sure.
So we focus on incremental improvement, and just getting on stage gives you that confidence that you can be better.
So very often communities have a kind of a, lack of a better word, repeatables, things that really define who they are, define membership, sometimes literally a membership card or figuratively at the very least. And there are certain language or jargon, inside jokes, imagery that help define each other as, yes, I'm in the community, or no, I'm not really part of that either. Is there anything that you can point to that there are phrases or jargon or inside things that you guys all tend to say and repeat, and maybe symbols or other imagery, things that you over the years maybe that have kind of the members have done or you purposely have architected? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. And this came about completely by accident a few years ago when we had our studio where we're meeting live and had individuals that would come in and stand up in front of the room and deliver their message. And some people were asking, like, well, how often do I need to do this? Can't I just go to Toastmasters and speak once every 6 or 8 weeks? And somehow out of my mouth, I said, you know what? The first time you give a speech, it's going to suck. I'm sorry, but the first time you deliver it, it's going to suck. And the 5th time that you deliver that speech, it's still going to suck, but not quite as much as the first time you delivered it. Sure. And then the 20th time, I got news for you. It's still going to suck, but not nearly as much. And again, suck is a relative term, because if you're a paid professional speaker, the first time you deliver that message, I've been on stage 7,000 plus times, and the first time I deliver a message, it sucks compared to what it sounds like after I've done it 10, 15, 20 times. Now, I've got a story that I tell called Amos the Lumberjack, and it illustrates a very valuable point. And I've been telling it for about 3 years now, and I've literally told this story more than 300 times. And I got news for you. Right now, it doesn't really suck very much at all. It's pretty doggone smooth. But it literally took me 50, 60 iterations of that speech before it really got smooth and it really got good. So, and that's one of the reasons that we decided to split off and kind of make our own program. Because at Toastmasters, what they want you to do is deliver a speech, get some feedback, and then 6 weeks later, come back and give us a new speech. And then 6 weeks later, give us a new speech. So they want you to just do new speeches all the time. We want you to do the same speech over and over and over again, 10, 15, 20, 30 times.
The power of repetition.
Exactly. So we've got a young lady here in town who is a fashion consultant. And she told her story, her one particular story, the first time, and it was incredibly mediocre. I mean, it was interesting and it had some great components to it, but we encouraged her to work on it and tell it again and again. And now today she's told it 30 times, and it is smooth. And she just gets compliments from everybody. Wow, I like that humor. You just had me from the opening. I didn't even look at my watch. I have no idea how long that took. So repetition and adding just a little bit. We focus on incremental improvement. You're not going to take it from here to here, overnight. So just do a little bit better than you did last time. Add a little humor. If it doesn't work, let's switch it out. But let's continue polishing it until you just really get good with it. So I guess to answer your question again, the first time you give a speech, it's going to suck, and just come back and do it again, because you're going to get better.
Which, talk about the incremental improvement. It's not by happenstance, right? You have a framework that you're helping your members go through to really architect their brand story. Can you dive a little deeper into that framework of how can someone kind of take a look at their own story of how they share who they are to engender that know, like, and trust aspect of marketing? What is that process like? What is that framework like?
Well, we have a series of about a dozen or so questions that we ask of our clients. So if, like I told you earlier, if someone comes in and they don't have a speech, they don't have a story, I'll interview them and I'll ask them questions such as, tell me, who are you? Who do you help? And how do you help them? And a lot of times people have a hard time just verbalizing who they help and how they help them.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the first basic elements that we teach is, get clear on what pain you help your clients eliminate. How do you help them gain more confidence or take that pain away?
And I remember in one of our conversations, you also helped me understand kind of that structure of a story, kind of that problem solution concept. Yeah, I don't know if you want to share a little bit about that.
Well, we also teach storytelling, and we make certain, people say, I got a story for you. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, yeah, well, I want to hear this story, because chances are it's not a story. It's something other than a story, because a story has to have a setting or a scene. We have to know kind of where this is set.
Sure.
Then we need to know the character or characters.
Sure.
Who's involved, and then what is life like before they deal with or before they're hit with this crisis or a conflict. So we have to have a scene, we have to have characters, and then a crisis or conflict, something thrown into the works that demands action and attention. Then we have to have pursuit. We have to have the character or characters going after a resolution. They go through some gyrations, they take some chances, they try some things. Some work, some don't. And then we have to get to a resolution. And that resolution can be a successful resolution, or in the case of my Amos the Lumberjack story, it's a negative resolution. Amos fails in his pursuit, but then there's a lesson to be learned through both success and through failure. So
I think we're all still wondering whatever happened between you and Dee Dee. I think that was a very that was a cliffhanger.
Well, actually, it is. In fact, that's one of the techniques that we use. It's called a hook.
Sure.
So people will go, "Oh, I wonder whatever happened. How did this turn out?" Well, I'll get to that in just a little bit.
All
So
right. All right. Stay
at the end of
tuned.
my message, I will wrap up and explain, where Dee Dee and I are in our relationship today. And here's a spoiler: she's married to somebody else, living in Iowa on a farm with 5 kids and 11 grandkids.
All right.
But but we still stay in touch. So that's pretty cool. So anyhow, yeah, we ask our members and those who are just getting in, we ask them questions. Who do you help? How do you help them? What inspired you to get into this business? Because that kind of gets at your why. Why
Yeah.
are you doing this? And one of my clients was who is a very successful IT management company owner now. He was in junior high school, and his teachers couldn't figure out how to run the computer system, and they didn't have an IT tech person. So he kind of rolled up his sleeves, figured out what he needed to do, and he, as a junior high school student, figured out and put their computer system together so it could talk and it could
Yep.
work. And today, the guy runs a
Yeah.
very successful, IT solutions company
Sure.
in Las Vegas. So it was cool to know what inspired him. And let's
Was that
face
the gentleman on the brand story video that you were able to share with
yeah,
me? Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Michael Pollock the third. Yeah.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's very reminiscent because my best friend and I in high school, we did that with the computers in our library. We created the Novell LAN back in the 90s when
Sure.
local area networks were a thing. So I know that concept of that story fairly well, inside out.
Sure. So, we ask those questions like, well, what are your qualifications to do what it is that you do? Because people have these sheepskin on the wall, but that's just a small part of it. And they'll tell us, well, let me tell you, here's what qualifies me. I was in this situation, and here's what I was faced with,
Sure.
and here's how I overcame that. And the lesson that
Yeah.
I learned, is this. And then we ask, things like, what's your story? And that's a very just open-ended question, so they can kind of tell us whatever it is that they want. And then we ask, what problems do you solve for your clients? Because I think as entrepreneurs, we should all know that we're in the business of problem solving, of fixing problems, healing the pain. And if we can't identify what the pain is that we solve for our clients, then chances are we're not going to be terribly successful. So we just ask these questions. What are some of the greatest benefits that your clients get, from working with you?
Yeah.
So we ask them these questions, and that really kind of starts the thought process and gets them not only thinking about it, but understanding that these are the things that their prospective clients want to know when they're going to
Sure.
make their business buying decisions. Because
Yeah.
Seth Godin, and I think you probably know who Seth Godin is. Anybody in
Sure.
the entrepreneurial world or marketing world knows Seth Godin. And he says, it's not about the products or services that we make. It's really about the stories that we tell. Again, I come back to everything's a commodity, and people are going to buy from you because they know you, they like you, and you trust you. And
Yeah.
that comes through sharing your story with them.
So how does your community grow with stories and members sharing their stories with others? Are Do you encourage members to invite others as guests, or how is that process like for you and your community? Or I mean, some communities don't, they purposely don't want to have outsiders in. So how do you handle that? How do the invitations work?
Well, yes, we absolutely do encourage our current members to invite others, but we do it in such a low key way. In fact, we
Mm,
hardly even mention that at all. We just know that a happy client, a happy participant in our community is just naturally going to share the word. And they're going to share it with people who are like them, who
mhm.
share, similar desires. So we grow almost exclusively through word of mouth, personal referrals. We
Cool.
have some other marketing approaches, but generally speaking, those who are in our communities, they know and understand the true value they get, and they're excited to share that with others. So, every week we get 2, 3, 4, 5 new visitors to our community, and we always offer what we call a free view or a freemium. So come on in, check us out, take part in 1 or 2 or 3 events, and see if it's for you. If you feel that you can get value from this, it's going to be a win-win, then we want you to sign up and start paying. If not, that's okay, because we realize we're not for everybody, not necessarily a
Well,
good fit. So come in, try it out. If it's a great thing for you, then great. We'll start charging you, and we have programs starting at $57 a month up to lots more. But we try to make it very economical for those who want to get in and start building their skills.
so nice segue as we wrap up. So what is your timetable? How can members get to know you, get to know your community, talk about that free view, that freemium aspect? How can they kind of come as a guest and kind of see all that's to offer in your ecosystem?
Sure. Well, nextstagecommunications.com is our company website. And on there will be links to be able to see some of our different programs. And we have what we call a Jumpstart program, which is obscenely priced at $7. Did I say $7? That's right. $7 is our Jumpstart program. That gives you access to everything we do for 2 weeks, for 14 days. So you can come to every one of our sessions, our storytelling sessions, our speaking sessions, even our office hours coaching sessions, where we provide coaching in a group environment. You come to our presentation skills workshops. Just check everything out for only $7. You get an inside view on everything we do. Plus, we give you access to our vault, which is our library of, now it's about 70 plus video training programs, an hour or longer, that on various topics having to do with speaking, like how to book yourself to speak, or how to do a great online presentation, how to build your email list. So we want to give you just a great opportunity to look inside, and you can find that at nextstagecommunications.com.
That's awesome. Part of that timetable, and you do multiple, right, in a week. So there are plenty of opportunity for people to kind of do that free view guest perspective. And I'm looking forward to Video Socials being part of that mix, and for our communities to start communicating together. I'm looking forward to having kind of a special Video Socials type session for your members and our members to get to know all the things that you guys are doing as well. So,
Right.
so that'll come. Oh, I know we had to reschedule that, so that'll come in coming weeks. So hopefully, sometime in April, we'll figure that for that time period, and I'm looking forward to having some fun with that.
Absolutely. We'd love to do that.
Yes, looking forward to that as well. Al, this is phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time. It's really interesting to understand how your community has grown and how members interact, and especially around that perspective of storytelling. I mean, that's so vital and pivotal. Even our kind of members, where they're creating video blogs on a week-to-week basis, sometimes we all forget the power of stories until we hear other people's stories, and then we kind of see how that emotional impact, the energizing impact, and the practical application of a story to bring out those lessons. So that was great. So thank you, Al.
My pleasure.
One last question before I let you go.
Sure.
Is there another business community or business leader that you look to, that maybe you're a member of their community, maybe you're not, but you're nonetheless a raving fan of, that you would want to point to and highlight?
Yeah, I got to tell you, when I got excited about doing videos, and I want to do really, really good videos, I came across a guy out of Nashville, Tennessee, Chris Cunningham is his name, and video creation something, but it's all over Facebook.
All right,
We'll look him up. Video creation on there, Video Creation Academy.
Sure.
He's got some other suffixes on there as well.
Yeah, sure.
But so I basically bought into his program. I've taken his training, and now I'm in his community. And,
that's wonderful.
And I go to his events, and I'm learning how to become a more effective video presenter, how to put video scripts together.
Can you hook us up? Can you CC me? Because it seems like it would dovetail wonderfully with the Video Socials community.
It absolutely would. So I'll turn you on to Chris Cunningham. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. And hopefully Chris will come on to the video show here and talk about how people love clapping. So thank you, Al, for your time. This has been tremendous. I'm looking forward to doing more with you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Vic. I truly appreciate it.
All right. And of course, we'll be chatting more offline. So thanks again.
You got it.
Bye-bye for now.